Welcome to the Cosmic Goody Bag here on Dash Talk X Radio. I am your host, Carla Cherry. Thank you for joining me. We are delving into the supernatural world, interviewing game changers, authors, ufologists, mediums, sacred site junkies, even pet psychics. Why am I doing this? Sometimes it's the red pill, sometimes it's the blue pill, sometimes you just slip and fall down the rabbit hole, and you get a timeshare there. Our mission is to expand our consciousness and find some personal power. Do you want some personal power? I'm tired of watching superhero movies. I want a little bit of that for myself. My guests have studied ancient texts, researched the supernatural, and so together, let's figure out what the heck they're talking about. Strap in. Robert Bingham is known as the infamous UFO summoner. He has summoned UFOs for thousands at events around the world. I got to see him do this at the Disclosure Fest, so I can vouch for him. He is also a philosopher, UFO, contactee consultant, photographer, and the host of Strictly Out of the Box podcast. Welcome, Robert Bingham, to Cosmic Goody Bag on Dash Radio.
Well, thank you very much, Carla.
Thank you for being here. This is times two. This is our second time because we shot the first time and we didn't get enough time, and now we're doing it again. We're going to get all the stuff in.
Okay, I'll do my best.
All right, so where did you grow up, Robert?
I grew up in Lincoln Heights, Northeast LA.
Okay. And then did you have UFO stuff in your family? Was there a history of this, or were you the first one?
Well, my brothers back in the 50s said they saw things. I was just too small. I think the first thing that I've ever saw was during the time when they were, the first Apollo mission that was going to land on the moon. They were on the way to the moon.
Okay.
We were on a porch. We had a big house on a hill, and we had a number of people and friends over on the porch. And one of my father's friends had a binoculars because he just came back from the racetrack or something. And we noticed this red light that was up in the sky, and it wasn't moving. We tried to figure it out if it was a helicopter. We figured it wasn't a helicopter. And it just stood there. So we watched it, and everybody grabbed binoculars, and they all took a turn at looking at it. When I grabbed the binoculars, I looked at it, and a short flame came out of it, and it disappeared.
Wow. Whoa.
And so that I didn't know, what it was. I just knew it wasn't normal. So
how old were you?
That was 1969, so I was about 11. So fast forward to about 15 years old, I was always interested in aircraft. So I would always look at books and everything pertaining to aircraft, or anything that did with missiles, rockets. And so I always looked at planes that would fly overhead. It's just a habit of mine. One particular day, I was about 15 years old, I think, if I recall right, or 16. And I heard a plane going over, and it was a single engine, I guess they call them a Piper plane. And so as I looked at it, there was an object higher than that. And so I concentrated and focused, and it was a cigar-shaped object. And it was in amber color, like the stone amber.
Okay.
And it's exactly what it looked like. But it looked like it had windows on it, but it was long. It was pretty big. So I estimated the height and all that, and it must have been pretty big. And it stood there, and I realized right there, I heard about cigar-shaped objects before, but me seeing it for the first time, I said, wow, UFOs do exist. Wow, they do exist. And so it verified, it just confirmed my belief that UFOs exist. And I had another experience. I was renting a room in a boarding house. It was one of these old Victorian homes in the area. And I had a small room, but I wanted to change to a bigger room when it was available. So the manager, Jaime, I let him know that I wanted to see that room as soon as this guy named, I forgot his name, he moved out. And so I went over there, and this lady downstairs was looking at it, but they were both there, and it was pretty windy. It was the wind was about 40 miles an hour, and this particular room had a little porch. It was on the second floor, and Jaime said, "It's a spooky night," and I said, "Well, we're gonna see an alien tonight."
That's right.
And so I went back to the room, and I didn't know why I said that. Why did I say that? But anyway, when she left, he called me over, and I was looking in the closet space, and he was out in the porch, and he said, "Robert, come over here. There's a UFO. No, there's an alien coming down the street." So what he meant to say is there's a ship coming down the street, but he said alien. So,
this is in Los Angeles.
Right. And I didn't believe him, but I went over there after he kept bugging me. So I went over there, and I was on the porch, and I looked to the left. Eye level was a UFO coming down the street.
Was it tree level or?
Eye level, second floor.
Wow.
But it was quite a ways before it got to me.
What did it look like?
It looked like a worm leg.
Okay.
It was about 20 feet long, and it had diamond facets. The whole thing was diamond facets. No windows, nothing. It was just all diamond facets.
What color?
It was black. At a distance, it was black, but when it got to where I was and got in front of me, it was like a navy gray, like they have on the battleships or whatever.
Did anyone else see it? So your friend saw it and you saw it?
Yeah. No, we didn't see. It was blowing 40 miles an hour. So what really caught my attention was that the wind didn't affect it at all. At all. It was like if it was on a monorail, an invisible monorail coming at a certain speed.
Wow.
And it just that blew me away, How was it able to do that?
Right.
But anyway, it made this turn and went over the house. And so the next day I took Adrian, which is like my grandson, and I took him fishing, and I said, well, you know what? I'm going to try this. I said, Adrian, do you want to see a UFO? And he said, yeah. He's about 3-4 years old. And
Who wouldn't want to?
Yeah, so I called them. Like I said, I just called them telepathically. And I told them, I want you to go around the clouds like a cursor, like do all these weird moves. Telepathically, I told it.
And they did it?
And they came in a shiny ship-like, and they did it.
Wow.
And he got to see it. And so Adrian, during the years of my research, he became like my protege. I taught him a lot at that age, and over the years, he learned a lot.
How old is he now?
He's about 24.
So you've had these 3 experiences. Have you ever felt threatened by a UFO?
I never felt threatened. I'm going to share a story I haven't shared yet on the public.
Okay.
I was out in my backyard, and I used to go out there and take a lot of pictures daily. My neighbors thought I was quacky or something. And so one day, a ship, like a fighter jet, but it was a UFO.
Okay.
I spotted him above there, and I took pictures of him. Underneath his belly, underneath the belly, in our jet fighters, we carry what they call extra fuel pods. And after to go further distance, and after the fuel pods are empty, they just eject them.
Okay.
Well, underneath this UFO fighter jet, which had a canopy like a fighter jet, and I could see the pilot in there, and had a helmet with a face shield, just like a fighter jet. Underneath its belly was an atomic weapon.
Really?
Yeah. And when I looked up in the sky, there was about maybe, I recall, about 7 or 8 more up there. And this thing was jet black, and it had like a spoiler at the back. It was like triangular. And when I went and downloaded it on my computer, obviously my computer was compromised because I never got to, whoever got compromised it, I never got to see it again.
What do you mean compromised?
Whatever I'm downloading on my computer was already taken.
Really? Okay, wait, hold on. When did this happen?
Well, this happened quite a while back. Let's see about. I couldn't tell you exactly, but it was when I was living in Alhambra. I didn't keep dates or anything.
It was like 80s, 90s, 2000s?
No, it was about maybe, I'd say about 15 years ago.
Okay. So do you think it was U.S. government, or do you
think? I don't actually know, but I think it was some government, whether it was Chinese government or the U.S. government. I don't know.
And it was in L.A.?
It was in Alhambra.
Oh, in Alhambra. Okay. So you see this, and tell me what it looked like again?
It was a triangular shaped craft.
Okay.
Really smooth, no rough edges.
Okay.
No. And it had a cockpit, and it had a spoiler in the back that came up like that.
Okay. So what do you think about it?
I realized that what I took in that is that they have the capability of nuking us if they want to, unless that was ours, unless that was U.S. government.
How could you tell it was a atomic bomb or atomic?
I just could.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, it was an atomic weapon.
Wow. So you think that they have the capability of any type of UFO that's out there? They've reverse engineered it.
I believe the U.S. has done all that. Yeah. Of course. Why they were coming to me, because the way they did that is because I was getting too close. I was doing a lot of work, and maybe they were trying to frighten me off.
Okay, so you think it was like a little bit of a warning situation?
Kind of, yeah.
So what type of work were you doing?
Well, I was just recording everything, but I have a connection, right? So I was recording a lot of things, but then again, it could be the terrestrials doing that, saying that if they get tired of us, they might nuke us themselves. I don't know. I didn't know what to make of it.
Okay. So tell me, so after you had these experiences and then you realized that you can summon them for the first time with your grandson.
Yeah.
So then what was next?
There's so many things.
Did you just start summoning them on a monthly basis?
No, I would go out there and summon, but it takes a lot of energy out of you. It takes a living life force out of you if you do it too much.
What's the process like? What do you actually take me through the process when you're going to go do that?
When I go up there outside, when it first started, I would look up in the sky and I would look for a bright blue spot, or look, if it was all blue, then I'd look at just one spot. I'd pick a target.
Okay.
And I look at it with my eyes intensely and go deep in space as I could.
Does it matter what time of day it is?
Well, no, doesn't matter. And I would telepathically tell them to arrive, and I would, let's do something. What do you want to show me today? And stuff like that. And I believe our eyes are like Superman, like the comic books. It does send it out. I don't know how it works, but I know we have this ability.
Okay. And then, so when you say telepathically, what are you thinking when you're summoning? Or are you saying specific things?
I'm just telling them to arrive and to show up.
Okay.
Nowadays, I can command them to show up. Like if they don't show up, I command them, because I've done a lot of work for them, and if I have to, I command them, because I've done a lot for them, so they listen to me. Well,
so
anyway,
you think it's a trade-off?
There's a lot of things I do. This Dorian, the hurricane that just, it would have been a hell of a lot worse if it wasn't for what I did. I've done a lot of work for FEMA, and I've prevented like 42 disasters around the world.
So how does that work? FEMA calls you up?
No, I have a friend that's... she's very close. She's very high up in FEMA, and she's a personal friend that I believe the government sent her to get close to me, and so that's how that works.
Wow. Okay. And then when you are, because it's interesting, because I talked to a high priestess witch in North Carolina.
Okay.
And
what did she say?
She says that she does the same thing.
Wow. Oh, yeah,
you guys should meet.
Well, I don't know about that, but anyway, I'm pretty. My skills, and we all have the ability, I believe, but I have them much more refined and much more. Takes practice, a lot of work.
When's the first time that you diverted some type of weather situation?
Well, I can't recall that. What happened is she called me up and she said, hey, I'm getting deployed right now. I go, right now? She goes, yeah, right now. I'm about to board the plane. I said, well, you're not going to go. Oh, she goes, I don't want to go. She got scared about it. And she said, I don't want to go. I said, well, you won't. She goes, well, how are you going to stop that? I go, I have friends in high places, literally. So I put out there that she won't show. And she gave me a call back and says, hey, they told me to get off the plane.
Wow.
Yeah, I stopped it. Whatever.
She was going into a war situation?
No, a disaster situation.
Oh, she was going to a disaster.
Well, one that's going to happen.
One that's going to happen?
Yeah, it was in Saipan or Guam. I forgot where it was. But
Oh, wow.
she was going to head on that way because there was going to be a major typhoon or hurricane. I forgot.
Wow.
But she called me up one day from, she was in Command Central. She called me from there. She goes, Robert, I'm in Command Central right now.
Of FEMA.
Of FEMA or whatever, government or whatever. Because FEMA, when she's on wherever she's at, FEMA takes control, whether it's the Navy or the Air Force and all them. FEMA calls the shots. And she's one of those. And so she said something just I'm in Command Center and we have a satellite visual of the hurricane. Something just happened right now. I go, what happened? She goes, we were looking at the eye of the hurricane and a thing like a laser beam went boom. And it was like, it dropped like, she said, and then the thing just started disappearing. It just started dissipating. I said, well, I told you I was going to do that.
So you're connecting to ET. You're connecting to UFOs or ETs, and they are helping you do that?
Right, exactly.
Okay.
Well, they control the weather.
The ETs?
Yeah, they do.
Because there's lots of rumors going around that the U.S. government can create hurricanes. And that's false, you think?
Well, no, it's not false. Whatever the ETs can do, the government's trying to duplicate.
Okay.
The government wants to be like the ETs.
Why would an ET create a hurricane on Earth?
Well, it creates tornadoes. They showed me. They showed me that they create tornadoes. That, they didn't tell me why or what.
Yeah, why would they do that?
But I don't know. I'm not.
Because that seems like dangerous. People die.
Well, people die. Generally, people die. We have wars, don't we? People die.
But
people make decisions that say, hey, we're going to send all these soldiers in. And naturally, a lot of them are not going to come back.
Right.
So it's the same thing. Whatever they're doing is they haven't told me why, but I know that they control the weather.
But do you think these are good ETs or bad ETs?
Well, I suspect they're good ETs, but why they do it, I don't know.
Did you ask?
But I don't question. No.
Why? Oh my God. You've never asked?
I never asked.
Why?
Some things I ask and some things I don't.
And so why would you not ask that one?
Because it's not, that part is not for me to know.
So
I mean, I ask myself the question why, but I'm not going to ask them. There's certain things I don't ask.
Okay. So what do you ask? Or like what's something interesting that you asked?
Well, it's all telepathic, if you want to know why the ET's here, there's a coalition of ET planets up there, and there's 7 of them, and they're here to prevent us from blowing up the world. That's what they're here for. Yeah, we're at the edge. I'm going to say something.
Okay.
All you people out there that want to know the truth, wake up, smell the coffee, and know what time it is, because it's 1 minute to midnight.
On what front?
Nuclear.
Really?
Yeah.
U.S., China.
It's been like that. It's
all countries or specific countries?
We're at the edge. But believe me that the extraterrestrials are stopped. That's why it hasn't happened yet.
Mm-hmm. There have been specific instances where things have happened or almost happened, and it's been recorded, right, on specific famous locations where nuclear plants can. I forget the name.
They've recorded a lot of things. They have a lot of things. They're neutralizing weapons here and there.
Meaning?
They're neutralizing missiles.
Right.
The United States government has a weapon called the Cobalt Bomb. Now, I'm putting out information out there so you know that I came out with this information because a lot of these people in the UFO community will start writing books. And I can't stand it because they run out of things to talk about, and then they look for me and what I say, and then they start writing a book. And
why does that bother you so much?
why does it bother me? Because I can't stand people like that.
Because they're stealing in a sense.
Well, it's stealing, yeah, but they're not doing it in a good sense, letting anybody know. But they're turning it in. They're making what I'm saying it look like a carny act, but it's not. Now, what I'm saying is.
So the cobalt, what is that?
The United States has a bomb called the Doomsday Device, never exploded, and it's called the Cobalt Bomb. It's a negative atomic explosion. The bombs we have now are positive atomic explosions. When we tested the first one in New Mexico, they were afraid that once that thing was blowing up, it would never stop.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that was the chance they took. They took that chance.
By creating it.
Yeah. They didn't know if it would stop and how it would react.
And
so the Cobalt Bomb is the nightmare that they feared in the first testing of the atomic explosion. The Cobalt Bomb doesn't stop, but it keeps on absorbing all the oxygen on the planet, and the planet becomes a dormant planet. And so we have those weapons already. The powers that be have the weapons, and they keep changing the firing mechanisms. They're very, very ET-like firing mechanisms, but they're constantly changing it because the ETs want to neutralize them. But we're using ET technology, the U.S. government. Well, I hate to say U.S. government, but the cabal.
Mm-hmm. It's above the government.
They control the government, but they have these weapons. Once the ETs are able to neutralize that, you know damn well that they're going to come down and set order to the planet. But until they do that, because the cabal has the Cobalt Bomb, they're actually holding the world hostage. And that's why they have all these underground bases for the elite, not for normal people like you and I, that they can run to. And they tell the powers that be tell the coalition up there, hey, look, we know that you probably, not probably, but you can take us. But you're not, because if we know you want to save the human beings, but if you do, we'll just blow up, we'll kill every living thing on the surface of the planet.
Where is this bomb located?
Well, that I couldn't tell you. But
somewhere in the United States.
Well, it's probably in a few places around the world.
Okay, so it's part 3. It's like part 1, 2, and 3.
Well, I'll let you know when I know. But that's what we're dealing with. So they're actually holding the world hostage.
Wow.
Yeah.
And where does the cabal get its orders from?
Well, look at. I'd like you to look at a video I took. It's my channel is UFO Robert Bingham or Robert Bingham on YouTube. I have a video. You have to go out in the video, line up and pull up a video called Wonton. And I believe I'm the only one in the world that's filmed the reptilian. The reptilians that are underneath are calling the shots.
Underneath meaning?
Well, they're everywhere, but they're underneath in Earth.
In Earth.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're calling the shots, and they're the ones that are telling the politicians, the kings and queens and all of them what to do. They've been controlling this planet forever.
Okay.
But it's time to leave. The lease is up. They're getting evicted.
So, which is exciting, and also in conjunction with Ascension, we're rising up.
We're rising up in Ascension, but see,
why is now? Why is the time up right now?
Because that's the way it is.
And who called that?
It's just all written in the stars.
Okay, from the Mayans on.
It's written in the stars. It's the plan.
So these ETs that you're talking to that are good, where are they from?
I couldn't tell you. And if anybody could tell you, I think they would be lying to you.
Okay.
I'm part extraterrestrial myself.
How do you know that?
Wow. See, I'm giving up a lot, man. I have to write my book. You're getting
Don't
a really
worry
good.
about
You're
it.
getting a real good show for the bang. Okay. Agents within the government had dropped a pamphlet on my desk at one of these trade colleges that I was going to. I was learning to be a pharmacy technician. And I went to lunch and I came back and there was a booklet, like FBI papers made into a booklet that was on my desk.
Does it scare you?
No. But it was, the front page was like a title of a book. And it said, DNA biological experiments carried on women, or generally pregnant women in the United States. So what the government did is put DNA in certain pregnant people, certain pregnant women and hospitals around the nation to see what would happen.
So it's part ET.
Well, they were trying to suggest that that's what they did to me.
So that was like a heavy hint. Like you went to lunch, you came back, and you're like...
Well, I told my instructor, Mr. Gee, I said, Mr. Gee, did you leave this pamphlet on my desk? He goes, yeah, I did. I go, I never told you that I was into UFOs at all. Never mentioned it in school at all or anything. He goes, well, I thought you would like to read it.
Your teacher?
Yeah. But then again, he had told us earlier in the semester that he worked for the Naval Intelligence too. And so I felt that the U.S. government went to him and he left that on my desk.
So if you have part ET DNA, what are some of the features about you?
Well, I couldn't tell you. I wouldn't tell you even if I knew.
Really?
No.
You don't know. So you never questioned, or you never...
No, I'm just saying that they dropped that booklet on my desk. And so...
Well, you obviously have telepathic...
Well, I'm pretty telepathic, yeah.
Communication. Okay.
Sure.
So that's going on.
So that's probably one of the great abilities. I'm part ET, so that that's how I can call them real quick. I can do things like that.
Do you ever have memories of past lives or being on a different planet or any of that?
Well, my time travel thing was a past life.
Oh, yes. Please tell me about that. So you have time traveled. I want to hear all about it.
Okay. I had a real good friend named Eva Garcia, and she did meditations once a week at her house. And she had a whole bunch of women, and mostly women, that would meet there and they would meditate. And funny thing about me, though, is I would fall asleep every time, and I'd get the best sleep of my life. And I would start snoring,
It sounds like me at the latest Quentin Tarantino film.
Anyway, so she told me different things. It was hard for me to believe some of the things she told me. She told me Robert, you lived thousands of lives. You're an old soul. And sometimes you came back as a woman. And I said, no, Eva, I didn't come back as a woman.
No man wants to hear that.
I'm strictly man. And so anyway, I had left to work, and I said, you know what, Eva, I'm a realist, and you're not a realist. Anyway, the next day, I went to go work at a mansion called the Greystone Mansion. Was owned by Doheny. And we're doing a part of the Star Trek episode on a movie. And my boss said, Robert, go guard the East Gate. But when I first arrived and drove my car up there, I felt like I lived there before. I knew everything about the mansion, yeah.
What type of work were you doing?
I was security on movie sets and commercials and stuff. But anyway, so when I drove up there, I just flashed back and I said, wow, this place I already know it. And I feel this really strange thing happening to me. Wow. The day went on, my boss said, go guard the East Gate of the mansion, So I did. I went to the East Gate. He says, tell all the grips and everything to park on the edge of the parking lot, because there's a reservoir underneath the parking lot. Anyway, so I said, what do I do after they all come in? He says, oh, just kick it there. So I kicked it, and I'm looking at the mansion, but I haven't seen the east side of the mansion. I'm just, from where I was, I could see the rooftop. But I already knew what it looked like, kind of.
Wow.
And all of a sudden, I slipped into this. I'm sitting on this chair, and I slipped into this time travel thing. Not my body. My body was there, but like an astral travel. It was time. And I was there at the mansion, but I was 150 yards away next to the east side of the mansion.
So you're kind of above it, looking down?
No.
Oh, you're just physically that far away.
Yeah. And I'm looking at Doheny, and I'm going into his body and looking through his eyes, and I'm looking at Lucy, his wife. And I figured that that's the life, one of my lives I used to, that I was here, you know. Apparently she wasn't very happy with him because she came walking down this flight of stairs, cement stairs. And that place was manicured like a park. Very nice. And she stood there, and so Doheny walks up there, and I'm looking through his eyes at her, and she's looking at me, and I'm saying, wow, rich people are kind of weird, you know, because they don't yell at each other. They don't even talk at each other. And she looks at him like, yeah, I'm going to show you, without saying a word. Yeah, you're going to get it. And that kind of look, and I'm saying, wow, what a trip. But without words. And then she walks up, and she gives a hand signal to somebody. I say, wow, who's she giving that hand signal to? Her lover or something? Well, anyway, I'm just tripping on everything, you know, because I'm there and it's real. Wow. It's all real.
So wait,
I'm in 1924. And then Doheny's daughter is knocking and pounding on this window. And so then I hear Lucy's voice. She says, stop that. Don't be pounding on that window. Daddy and Mommy are going to be up there. And then a whole bunch of college students come walking down this big, long brick way that goes up.
This is in the 20s.
1924. And they're singing. Good-looking college students, girls and guys. They're singing. I forgot what they were singing, but anyway. And one of these blondes, I thought she was a very nice-looking woman, young lady. She bends over and says, everybody's waiting for you up there. Hurry up. Come on. Let's go. Everybody waiting for you. And I'm looking through the window of the mansion, and I could see chandeliers with these little white lights that look like flames. And I could see the butlers with their black suits with a black bow tie. And so we all start walking up, and they're still singing this, whatever they're singing, as we're walking up the thing. And then I zapped back into my body, and I said, whoa, what a trip. I wish I could do that all the time.
Wow.
It was that real.
So you were a security guard on a film at a mansion,
mm-hmm.
and you sort of dozed off. And then
I didn't doze off. I didn't sleep.
You didn't?
Just zapped out.
You zapped out of your body. You were in your car when it happened?
No, I was sitting on the chair.
You were in a chair, and you zapped out, and then you were in
yeah, I was
scene.
there. Yeah. And 1924, when I was there at that location where I'm looking, there was no trees at all on the side of the mansion where I'm looking at the window with the chandeliers and all that. So when I came back to my body in the chair, I haven't been to that side physically yet. So I walked over there, and the whole side of that mansion was covered with eucalyptus trees, tall ones, because 90 years of growth. There was no trees at all back in 1920s. So I went behind the eucalyptus trees, and I looked at the same windows and the same chandeliers. I said, wow, what a trip. And so I went back and I told Eva, and she wanted to go the next day. So we both went to the Doheny mansion, and I explained to her a lot of things that I knew. But she said, well, where did you get killed? Because Doheny got killed by his chauffeur. His chauffeur shot him.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That was not a good ride.
No, but I said, well, I got killed in a place where it's all wood, and there's a wooden staircase. So we went around, as we were walking around the mansion and everything. We went to the back where they drive up to come out and go in the mansion. And the back is like the front. On mansions, I tripped out on that because they got like both sides are like the front door.
There's like a front door on both the front and the back.
Yeah, kind of. And so I looked through the doors were closed, and I looked and I go, here's where I got killed, Eva, because it was all wood and there was a wooden staircase.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Why do you think you went back to that particular time.
Because I didn't believe that I lived in past. Well, I did believe that I lived in past lives, but I wanted to irritate Eva at that particular moment. So I felt sorry for making her feel sad because of the way I put her down and what her beliefs were, and I apologized for that because I told her, I said, look at I should have an open mind because look at what I talk about, the things I talk about,
right?
So forgive me about that. It confirmed that I lived past lives, and I always felt that I was one of the Christian Crusaders, a Templar back in the Crusades.
Oh, interesting. So, why do you think you're being contacted by ETs? Why you?
Why? Because I asked for it.
Okay. Do you think anybody can ask for it?
Everybody out there, be careful what you ask for. You just might get it.
When you're communicating telepathically, are you sitting down in your room? Does it matter? Do you have to go to a certain place and have like a little ritual?
No. I don't have to do any of those things. I always tell people, you don't need smoke, you don't need drums, you don't need bells, you don't need all those things. It's pretty simple. When God built us, He built us in a way to be able to do so much, but we haven't been taught that.
Okay.
I'm bringing it back.
Okay. Well, how do you telepathically communicate with ETs?
Well, I'm silent and I just tell them. They know everything, and that's how I telepathically tell them. I talk to them.
So, are you in a meditation state?
No, I don't get into meditation. I really don't.
Literally, you could be at the grocery store.
I don't believe in meditation. All you folks that meditate out there, I really don't. No. I'm sorry. Don't hate me for that.
I'm just trying to paint the picture. So you're driving to the grocery store and you're just like la-di-da talking to ETs, or
no,
are you in your?
No, I don't talk to them unless I have to.
Oh, really? So it's like it's not like a chat situation.
No, I only talk to them when it's necessary.
And what would make something necessary that you would have to talk to?
Well, stopping disasters, one, or when I'm doing an event that they have my back and they do. And they know what's going to happen, or certain things, that I want to know. Is so-and-so who approached me, are they good? I mean, can I trust them? I really don't think I could trust them because I've had so many people betray me throughout my years doing my work only because there's a lot of elements in the UFO community that want to suppress me and they want to keep me down because I'm going to say something, and I'm not saying it to brag. A lot of these characters out there that write books and claim all these claims have no substantial proof at all. They never in their wildest dreams thought I would arrive and be able to do all that and really do it. Really do it publicly and do all the things that I do. That's why they try to suppress me. I have so much good film that you think that would have been on a speaker circuit quick, but no, they don't want me out there.
So you don't get asked to speak at different conferences?
No.
Have you ever tried? Have you ever reached out?
They don't want me, believe me.
Why wouldn't they want you on a UFO?
Well, because that would hurt their pocketbook. Because why would you buy their book or why would you go out to see him or her at a conference and pay $60, $100 or whatever you pay?
Right.
Why would you go out there and get burned up by the sun? All the things, you got to rent a motel. And I'm doing it downtown free and stuff like that. And I'm approachable.
So people can, if people want to, so I will just say at Disclosure Fest you were there.
Yeah.
If you like that one. And you were summoning.
I used to summon at least 15 times a year at the park and places. And it was a nice thing at the beginning, but then all the bad elements of the people would come around me and surround themselves with me.
Really?
And try to befriend me only to bring me down. Yeah. And
try to bring you down in what way?
And which way is that they started their own summoning group and they turned it into a circus,
Okay.
And I had to cut myself loose from all of them. I'm not associated with any of them. I even forget their names, but a lot of them are just not
Not the real deal.
They don't represent me. There was this one person who we were supposed to do a documentary, and he's from a big studio, right? And the studio opened up a department called Paranormal. Mm-hmm. And so what did he do? He took a lot of my information and he went with other people like David Wilcox and different people, and it's not working for him. Good. I hope they lose a lot of money. Well, anyway, but he betrayed me really bad.
Oh, wow.
And so that's what but I'm not going to let that affect me. It does affect me, but I try not to let it destroy me.
Well, now you have a podcast. You're going to write a book.
Right.
You're doing your own stuff.
Right. I'm going to rise above all that.
Right.
But anyway, I am here and I have the real power that they say they do, but they don't. You know, when all these people betrayed me, right? I've told them I have the power to give and I have the power to take it away. And so
that sounds almost like God.
Well, you can call it God, whatever you want to call it, but I do have. I'm the one that gave them. I showed them how to do what they did, mm-hmm. and they just ran rogue on me, and so I took it away. I told my friends up there, "Bam, don't show them nothing no more. That's it. Cut them all off.
Wow,
that's it. Bam, and they ain't getting nothing, and that's the way it is.
Wow,
so
it's like a little like Star Wars.
Well,
so
they brought it upon themselves anyway.
Are you still summoning?
Yeah.
Publicly, like people can come. Where can people come?
Oh no.
You're not doing it publicly anymore?
No, it's just I will if I felt I have to.
Okay. Well, you did it at Disclosure Fest.
Yeah, but if I wanted to do it again, I can do it. I call up Corey sometimes and say, "Hey, meet me at Angel's Point," and I'll bring some down, and he'll go out there and he'll see things.
Your friend Corey, who's in the studio. That's super awesome. Well, I was excited to see what I saw when you were there, and you were explaining that these little pieces break off. They're representatives of a big, larger ship that's up there.
This is the way it works. You got a ship up. You got ships that I've seen that are so huge you can put about 6 or 7 of our largest aircraft carriers on the wings.
Wow.
So you got these big ships. Different. Okay. Some of them are different.
You've seen these.
Yeah.
In Los Angeles? Or?
Well, different places.
Okay.
I've been privileged to do that. That's what, But anyway, you got these big ships, and then you got these cruiser-like ships that are on there, right?
Right.
And they're like medium to big ships or whatever. And then you got littler ships that are kind of, and it just keeps going down, down, down until you get and then these little ones, these littler ships, they got like orbs that are like drones, but they're orbs.
Okay.
And the orbs, say if something happened, somebody was attacking the ship, well, the orbs would sacrifice themselves because that's what they're made to do. They'll take the hit before the ship takes the hit.
Right. Little soldier orbs.
Yeah, they take the hit before the big ship takes the hit. And so that's what they do. And then they recon and they report back to the big ship what's going on. And bam, bam, bam. And those orbs, they got little orbs, thousands of little orbs.
Really?
Yeah. And they can travel so fast that you really can't see them. If they don't want you to see them, you won't see them.
Now, did I tell you I've seen an orb?
No, you haven't.
So I've seen stuff too.
Great.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And the first time I ever saw anything, I called it.
Good. They can read your mind.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. It was, I was sitting on my desk. I was sitting on my deck, and I just, I'd been doing all this intense therapy with my therapist, and, she was saying like, you can go back and look at your childhood if you want. You can, like remember those old like 1970s little sliders that you can look at.
Kaleidoscope.
Yeah, like you can look at it in your mind. And so I was doing that, and I did like a deep meditation. I did that, and then I said, I want to see a UFO. I don't want to see my childhood. That's boring. And so I shot up this violet light from the back of my head, and I have no idea where I got that idea. It just was like, let's do this. And just intensely held that up. And my bird, my totem or my spirit animal is the hawk. So I see them all the time, hawks all the time. I've seen sometimes like 14 and like, and on special days and specific times. But I saw 2 hawks. They circled. They went up and up and up and up and up and up until they disappeared. And I've never seen hawks do that. And so I knew they were showing me this is where you're supposed to look. And then I saw craft. I saw that first time was very bright white craft. And there was 1, and then there was 3, and then there was 5. And it was broad daylight, Los Angeles. But they were up in the clouds. And then suddenly a plane went through them and they disappeared.
It's awesome, huh?
Yeah, it was my first time and it was amazing. And then, but I wasn't, like, I wasn't like overly, no. It was just a calm feeling. And it was also like, it was a confirmation.
It's confirming that you always had it.
Right.
Yeah, that's all. You had it all the time. Everybody's looking and it's right inside them. And they have it. So we have to look inside of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was definitely like, and I've been to one of those summoning things before at a festival, and not yours, but another one. And it was funny because they were doing all these things and they were singing and doing meditations and playing music and doing old scripture things. I fell asleep. I fell asleep on the side. I didn't say anything, and I was super tired too. But with this time, it was super rad. And then another time where I saw an orb, I was in Malibu, and it was a pink orb. It was about that big.
Awesome.
And I thought my brain could not put it together while it was happening because I've never seen anything like it.
Pink stands for love.
That's awesome.
We're showing you some love.
Yeah. I mean, it was me. I was meditating. My friend was there. She was far away from me, and just kind of enjoying. There's this place in Malibu that I connect into. I think there's different energy points, and I've always been drawn to that one. And I thought, oh my God, is it coming up from the waves? But it was too far up, and it made no sense because you know how there's bubble and there's foam, and my brain was trying to make sense of it. And then I finally realized, like, I thought maybe did somebody blow a bubble from way on the cliff, and I just tried to think of all these things, and then I realized, like, no, this is actually
real.
This is real. This is an orb. It's about that big.
Mm-hmm.
It was perfectly spherical, and then once I realized it was there, I said, oh my God, do something so I know, and it moved back and forth. And then it went away. And I was like, way, where are you going? But it was awesome. And so that's why, I'm into it.
Good.
Yeah.
Can I share experience?
Yes.
I got invited to the learning, I think they call it the Learning Light in Anaheim.
Okay.
And I did it there, and I brought in a lot of stuff. But I was in the back, and I looked, and I called them, telling them telepathically, show up.
Mm-hmm.
As I never did anything in Anaheim. And as I'm looking, I seen one just like the Wizard of Oz, just come out of another dimension, and just like this, like a little tiny thing, and it just started boom, 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 turned into a white, bright orb.
Wow.
And do you remember the Wizard of Oz when the good witch, she comes in an orb?
Yes.
When the orb just starts appearing,
Mm-hmm.
it starts growing, and then it appears, and it's boom. Yeah, well,
it's just like that.
Well, that's the way it was. So they come out of space, and they come from the ocean, and they come out of different dimensions. They do a lot of things. I never doubt anything about what they can do.
So, I don't know. Why aren't there more of them?
There's millions of them. There's multi-millions of them.
Do you believe that there are millions of them and that we just don't see them, like they're all around us?
No. There's millions of them. I one time had millions come.
Really?
Millions, yeah. But they're capable of doing a lot of things. One thing that they're able to do, they know you might say the manual on the human being. They know what the eyeball's capable of doing. Everything about a human being they know everything.
They're just
the
like
capabilities.
They're a higher dimension.
The capabilities. So they can fool you. They can make you see something, and many others people won't see it.
Okay, so it's like a special message for you specifically.
Well, sometimes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So they're capable of doing a lot of things. I just, I'm always looking forward to see something that I haven't seen yet.
And you've seen a lot.
I've seen a lot.
I mean, you've seen these beings that look like snakes and amoebas.
No. On the video one time, I videoed a craft, which was like a Skype. The craft was Skype.
What do you mean Skype?
All right, say the craft.
Mm-hmm.
It was Skype, meaning the whole craft that was going through the air was a Skype craft, meaning what the craft was looking at me, and as I freeze framed the film and I looked at it, I saw the King Reptilian and his priestess. And so it was Skype. They were looking at me through the whole ship as a TV screen, and I was looking at them. I mean, it happened so fast. I had to take it and put it in front of a monitor to realize what I captured.
So it wasn't actually there. It was just like a screen where they're watching you and you're watching them.
Yeah, but I only could watch them when I put it on a monitor because I couldn't really tell as it was going kind of fast. Not fast, but it was moving. And I don't have great eyeballs. They know that. But they didn't know that I would snip parts of that video and then blow them up and then see that. They were looking at me. Yeah, well, that was a trip, the whole Skype. Their technology is really super.
So wait, when you saw Millions, where were you? What was that like?
I was in East LA. I was at, I'm going to give a little free advertisement to Manny, our local Tapiac Burritos. I was there and the parking lot, and I had called them, and millions of them were coming out from the sky. But what was amazing is not everybody was noticing it.
So you're seeing it, not everybody else is seeing it.
Right.
So they have the capability of showing you something specifically in broad daylight that other people cannot see.
Right, millions.
And were they white orbs? Were they orb-like?
They were white and red, and
were they orbs, like spherical?
Orbs, spherical, but translucent that you could see kind of through them. And so, things like that. That was that particular time they came in millions down from space.
So do you believe that these beings are way ahead of us technologically,
right,
spiritually, all of it?
Well, we're catching up.
Okay. What do we have to do to catch up?
We have to believe.
Believe in?
Believe that there is a higher intelligence than us human beings down here on Earth. And that if you open up and you ask to receive the knowledge, you will receive the knowledge. You just have to ask for it. Most people think they have it all because they went to college or they feel that they're capable of understanding everything, and they're far from that. But you have to ask. You have to seek.
What are some of the things that you've learned?
This is the thing you have to do. You have to knock and the door will be open. You have to seek and you shall find, and you have to ask. Oh wait, ask and you shall receive. Seek and you shall find. Knock and the door will be open.
What are you finding? What are you asking for specifically?
Well, I don't want to get all that out there. I gave enough, I think, right now. But I'll give you some other stories.
One thing, no, I just want to know, because we're in this, so you said we're in this very specific time where we're waking up.
I'll say it.
Okay.
All right, all you folks and all you truth seekers, remember this. You're living in the greatest time in history. You have a box seat ticket for the greatest show on earth coming. It's here.
Oh my God, that's like a big cliffhanger.
That's it.
What's the biggest show? Why is it the big show?
Why is it the big show? Because this is it. This is the ascension process.
Okay.
So unfortunately, a lot of people are going to probably die, unfortunately, because men cannot learn without traumatic events like that.
Okay. And so when people do die, wow, you're dropping major bombs.
Well, then we won't repeat that type of behavior or inventions or whatever that caused that all to happen.
Okay.
That's the only reason.
This is happening in the next 50 years.
Well, it's going to happen. I'll give you the year. The timeline is 1922. I mean, the year 2022.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's when a big event's going to occur.
That's when, yeah.
So for those of us who don't want to die in
2022,
what should be in our preparation kit?
Well, your preparation should have a seed bank.
Seed bank.
Yeah, because you're not going to be able to eat your money or your diamonds or your gold or any of that sort of things. You better have some seeds. So everybody should be prepped with a seed bank. That's the best bank account you probably could have.
Are you going to
Everybody should have a seed bank.
Will you be in Los Angeles in 2000?
Yeah, I'll be here I'll be here. I'm not going nowhere. So that's it. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. If I'm going to survive, I'm going to survive. If I'm not, I'm not.
What type of disaster are we talking about?
Well, that I couldn't tell you.
All right. Wow. Because you hear little rumblings of that throughout this community. I hear rumblings of like disasters coming.
Well, Nibiru's on its way.
The planet.
Yeah. And its magnetic pull is already shifting our pole shift about 1/3.
Okay.
We're off about 33 degrees from our normal spin cycle. We're off about 33 degrees. The government's not telling you.
When Nibiru gets here, what are they going to,
Well, see, that's when we all are going to put in, telepathically are going to go into that spot when we're going to shift the earth, we're going to shield the earth, and not let whatever Nibiru's affect us. When you have millions of people doing the same thing, putting that energy out there, it's like a bubble. It's like a plastic around, like a shield, like a force field, which is going to prevent Nibiru from doing the harm it could do to us. Because Nibiru has harmed the earth many times before, but this time that ain't going to work.
Nibiru harms the earth how? Just by a sheer force coming in, or doing specifically?
Its magnetic pull would cause a polar shift.
Okay.
It might send us into the ice age again, or stuff like that. Earthquakes, I know that, where the whole earth is shaking. But see, with our shield that we're going to have, it's not going to happen this time. This is a different time.
So when you go in and you affect natural disasters and it takes all this energy from you, are you concentrating really hard, or what do you do?
No. I don't do any of that. I just put out the command. That's all I do.
Oh, really?
Yeah. See, I'm here and I'm out there already. I took a picture of my ethereal. Somebody took a picture of my ethereal self.
You showed it to me.
Yeah. Well, see. So I'm there and I'm here. People from might say the government already know that.
Okay.
So that's why I'm able to do what I do.
Do you have friends in the government, or do you just...
No, but I recognize them when they come around me.
You do?
Yeah.
So when they come around you, they're just curious?
I'm clairvoyant, remember?
Right.
Oh.
So when they come around you, are they trying to harm you, or are they just curious? They're just around?
No, they always talk in riddles, and you got to figure out the riddle, yeah.
It sounds like Men in Black.
Something like that. They never talk straight. Where like, hey, Robert, blah, this is the plan. Blah blah blah. No, they talk in riddles, man, where you have to kind of figure it out, read between the lines, and figure it out. And that's the way they are. I don't understand that myself.
And they're warning you, or they're telling you what's
next.
Well,
there's many things that are happening. Like, I'll tell you right now, Elvis Presley and Michael Jackson, they're alive.
And where?
Well, just take my word for it. They're alive.
Michael Jackson, because I heard a rumor that he was beamed.
Well, I don't know about all that Inquirer stuff, but I'm telling you, I saw Elvis Presley, and he's alive. So, you can either believe me or not. I saw him for myself.
You saw him in Los Angeles?
Yeah. I saw him, and I can't say too much about this, but I saw him in La Cienega next to Santa Monica Boulevard at a restaurant.
Why would they fake the death of Elvis Presley?
I can't divulge that. I know the information, but I can't divulge that.
Okay.
But I'm associated with his first daughter. Elvis Presley has 8 kids. Fathered 8 kids from 8 different women. His first kid is Deborah Presley Brando. She's a very, very close friend of mine. And that's how I got involved in that. And as I was doing a television show, a federal agent had told me about Michael Jackson. They made me hear it so I could hear it. But anyway, I don't want to go too deep in that. I just was throwing out a tip for everybody that they're both alive.
Wow. So they would, yeah.
So there's a lot of things in this world, man. You know, it's not all what it appears to be. So you got to be look, be focused. Like I said, wake up, smell the coffee, and know what time it is.
Yeah. So when you say wake up, and we'll end on this because we got to wrap up. But so if there is a nuclear weapon that we're being held hostage, you know, and it's and you said wake up, what can we do about it?
What can you do? What? Just use your telepathic power, and just all you have to do is command it, kind of, and put it out that that's not going to happen.
Okay.
Nibiru's not going to affect our planet, and but you know, as far as a number of people dying, you know, got wars. There might be a nuclear accident, or it might be a terrorism nuke going off here and there. So there's a number of things that might happen.
So bad things can happen, but you're saying, like, I'm just trying to get some hope. And
well, the main thing is Nibiru. The main focus, because if Nibiru does the damage, it's all over, folks. Mm-hmm.
And it's being tracked. You can actually see where it is.
Yeah.
Okay. And so what everybody can do on their own, individually.
You want me to just tell more stories, though?
No, I'm not trying to drag more stories, but I'm just trying to say, like, I like to end on what can we do? Like, what can each individual person do?
Find the truth. That you are the Son of God, therefore you are God.
Okay. What else?
So God didn't leave you without any tools. He gave you all the tools you need.
So it's more of a personal journey, like just.
It's a personal journey. The journey is yours, and so we always say that He's our Father, right? Therefore, if He's our Father, I got the attributes of God. I just got to claim them.
So you connect in. So you're connecting with God as well as ETs.
I'm a conduit. I plug into God.
Okay.
I'm a conduit, and
everybody has that.
Yeah, you just got to plug in. What I'm trying to say, plug in. Find out who you really are. You know, folks, it's all real what I'm talking about. So whether you believe in it or not, I'm not lying. I'm not out to hoodwink you or anything. So find yourself. The time is here. I hope I showed you the light in some way or form or fashion. My saying is, wake up, smell the coffee, and know what time it is, because we are a minute to midnight. And time's changing. You'll notice it. You feel it. I'm sure all of you feel it.
Where can people find you?
You can find me at UFO Robert Bingham on YouTube and robertbingham.org. And you can also friend me on Facebook if you want. That's where you can find me.
Okay. Well, that's it. Thank you so much for joining me here on Dash Studios for Cosmic Goody Bag, and to be continued.
Okay. Yes, we'll continue this. Maybe I'll remember what I was supposed to tell you.
What? You're such a cliffhanger. All right. So that just means we have to do this again. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Have a great day.
Carla. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.